Terry is a stay-at-home mom awaiting her husband's return from work. Her best friend Meg is visiting, chipping away at what's left of Terry's stale marriage. Jeffrey, the husband, arrives and is greeted by his daughter. Meg says her hellos and goodbyes to Jeffrey and makes an exit. Terry has housewife remorse. She want to be in them streets like Meg. Terry fails to get her husband to cancel his weekend plans to hang out with his dad. Colin, a prisoner, is being transported to his parole hearing. He's been convicted for manslaughter, though he was suspected to have killed 4 others. At the hearing, he does the familiar "I'm a changed man" act in front of the board, but one member ain't falling for the okie doke. He rejects Colin's request into the cheap seats. On the way back to prison, Colin requests the guard's assistance with a medical emergency. It's all a ruse as he launches an attack, killing both the guard and the driver. We then see Colin observing a woman with an impressive set of calf muscles. She meets up with a dude for lunch and then returns home. Colin is already there, waiting. The woman is Alexis, Colin's fiancée before he got sent to the clink. Colin wants to pick things up from where they left off, get a couple of passports and travel, see the world, on the run. Alexis is in self-preservation mode. She's all hearts and kisses with Colin. She'll say anything not to get murked. However, her agreement contradicts with the love letter Colin found in her bed. Some cat sent Alexis a love letter, handwritten, single line, in cursive. She must have really put it on old boy. To compound upon her discrepancies, Colin also found a stack of his unopened letters from prison. Then, Colin starts asking Alexis for all the dirty details. Alexis puffed her chest out and gave him the play-by-play of how she gets down. She then asked him if that's what he wanted to hear. Well, I can report, that's exactly 100% not what he wanted to hear. He chokeslammed this chick like he was the Undertaker or something. Cracked her neck and left her dead on the floor. That night, during the course of a thunderstorm, Colin wrecks his vehicle. He crawls from the wreckage and makes his way to a residence. He knocks on the door and Terry answers. When she opened the door, this cat Colin was staring off into nowhere. She should have just locked the door and kept it moving. Colin gives her the details of his accident and requests some help. Due to a kind nature or possibly horniness, Terry's giving him more leeway than the average stranger might get. With a few innocent questions, Colin gets the information that he needs to size up Terry's situation. I don't know what the equivalent of never trust a big butt and a smile is for a woman, but Terry needed to hear that advice. Instead, she invites Colin in. While Colin is downstairs going through her mail, Terry is upstairs in the mirror trying to spruce up. She comes downstairs giving this man her husband's clothes to change into. She eyeballing him like a broke cat in a strip joint with no money to tip. She's nursing his wounds with them things all up in his face. She's completely out of order, Your Honor. Next, Terry begins to overshare, telling this stranger her life story. He somehow manages to get in a word about his old lady Alexis humping around behind his back. Colin excuses himself to the bathroom and takes liberty to go through her medicine cabinet. Terry goes to the lab to let her hair down and to commit those tanks of hers for engagement. Colin surprises Terry. He prepares to lay out his sinister plan, but the doorbell rings. It's Meg, ready to set off girls' night. She meets Colin and it ain't too long before she's licking the back of his hand like Terry. She gets him alone and begins to apply full court pressure into his business. She's relentless trying to get information on him. Before he can hit her with the "none of your damn business," Terry yells out in the kitchen. The storm took down a tree that crashed through the kitchen window. Colin repairs it. Back to the living room and the conversation continues. Meg picks up on some chemistry between Terry and Colin. Terry exits for a wine refill while Colin goes out to smoke a cancer stick. Meg can't help herself and follows Colin outside where the full court press resumes. She gets right to it and asks Colin if he done already hit that. She can't believe that Terry's been leaving her back door unlocked for another man and not confide in her. She starts to call out Colin on his shit. Well, she pulled that Karen shit on the wrong cat. Ayo, head, meet shovel. Shovel, meet head. One blow, Meg is no more. Colin tells Terry that Meg had to go, which technically is a true statement. He gets back onto the subject of Terry lying about her husband coming home. Her disposition then went from freaky to weird to frightened. Colin starts to stare off into the void again. Terry tries to call Meg. The phone cord has been cut. She goes to retrieve one of her butcher knives in case she gotta shank this fool. The knives are gone. She hears chatter from her daughter's bedroom and runs upstairs. Colin is inside the room playing with the daughter. Terry notices that he's got that black fire in his pocket too. Colin asks Terry why she's overreacting. In a moment of opportunity, Terry takes a fire extinguisher, sprays him, clocks his rock, and sends him tumbling down the stairs. Well, that'd be a strange way to end the movie, huh? Colin is back on his feet, and he lets her know that it ain't gonna be too much of that kind of shit. He directs her into the bathroom shower. She expects the worst, but he just washes off the fire extinguisher foam. Oh, he also flicks some water into her face too. Then he orders her to change clothes. Okay, now here comes the worst. Colin's like, nah, it ain't that type of party. You ain't on this level, chick. Now instead of relief, Terry seems to be offended for not being desirable. Threatening her kids? Okay. Holding her at gunpoint? Okay. Saying that she's average at best? This means war. Terry now has agency. She stabs his brother in the side and then cracked him over the head again. She got him real good this time. This gives her time to call 911 using the fax machine phone line. Between the accident, falling down the stairs, getting stabbed, plus cracked over the head twice, it's a miracle that Colin is still standing. He rounds up the entire family and orders them into the car. Passing through the garage, Terry sees what Meg's fate turned out to be. As they're driving along, Terry is still trying to cut a deal with Colin. They stop at an intersection traffic light. There's a police car stopped in the opposite direction. Unbeknownst to Colin, Terry flashes her high beams. Colin does that rearview mirror thing when you pass a cop speeding. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. The cop U-turns and pulls them over. Colin pulls the baby from the back seat. The cop goes through his normal routine. It seemed to be a catch and release stop before Terry's daughter blows the cover with her backseat commentary. That ain't my daddy. The cop asks Terry to get out. He questions Terry about her suspicious and uptight behavior, and she doesn't do enough to throw off the cop. Colin ain't gonna leave things to chance. He rolls out of the car, puts two into the cop, and drags the body off the roadway. He orders Terry back into the car. They arrive at the home of Colin's ex, Alexis. He makes the introduction and prepares to explain to Terry what's behind all of this. Before he can begin, the storm set off the car alarm. He ties Terry up before he goes outside to turn off the alarm. He probably should have let it go off because no one really takes car alarms seriously anymore. Now, as Terry is tied up, Alexis' phone begins to ring. Terry manages to free herself and answers it. Before she can begin to plead for help, the voice on the other end begins to ask Alexis where she's been and why she's late for the meetup. Terry recognizes the voice. It's her husband, Jeffrey. Here's the deal. This cat Jeffrey's been cheating on Terry with Alexis. He's the one who left the letter behind in Alexis' bed that Colin found. When Colin found the letter, he got the address off of it, and that's why he landed at Terry's doorstep. He went there to kill Jeffrey. This really didn't have anything to do with Terry. So Colin gets back inside and finds that Terry has freed herself. He begins to hunt. She surprises him and stabs him again, this time with a butcher knife. He knocks her to the floor, and she reveals to him that she knows why he showed up at her doorstep. The two get into a tussle and she frees him of the gun. She struggles to grab it. They wrestle some more. She fakes getting knocked out and then rolls over and pumps this cat full of lead. Crashes out of the window like Michael Myers in Halloween. He dead as a doorknob. In the aftermath, old Jeffrey shows up begging for forgiveness and gets punched in the mouth. The closing shot is of Terry settling into a new home. I guess her and old Jeffrey couldn't work things out.